KeyPro is the Beneficiary and Family-Centered Care Quality Improvement Organization, also referred to as the BFCC QIO for 29 states. One of the responsibilities of the BFCC QIO is to perform hospital discharge and skilled service termination appeals for Medicare beneficiaries who feel their care is ending too soon. This video will review the Notice of Medicare Non-Coverage form from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This form is commonly referred to as a NOMNIC and is used for skilled service termination appeals. Let's go over how the form must be delivered and how to fill it out. A Medicare provider or health plan must give a completed copy of the NOMNIC to Medicare beneficiaries who are receiving covered skilled services. The NOMNIC must be given when the last skilled service is to be discontinued. The NOMNIC must be delivered at least 2 calendar days before Medicare covered services end, which is known as the effective date, or the next to last day of service if care is not being provided daily. For example, the notice may be given at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, with the effective date being Friday at noon. For the non-residential services such as home care, the notice could be given on Thursday with an effective date of the next Tuesday. In this case, the notice was given on the next to last visit. The NOMNIC must be signed and dated by the Medicare beneficiary, which indicates receipt of the notice, not agreement. The notice is required even if the beneficiary agrees that services should end. If the beneficiary is not competent to make decisions, then the notice must be delivered to a representative. Typically, a representative would be someone who has legal responsibility to make decisions, such as consent to treatment. Providers are required to have a process in place when the beneficiary is not competent and is not able to get the representative's signature in person. The provider should call the representative on the phone to advise when the services will no longer be covered. The date of this call is the delivery date of the notice and must be 2 calendar days prior to the effective date. The information provided must include the beneficiary's last day of covered services and the date financial liability is expected to begin, the right to appeal a coverage termination decision and how to do that, including the telephone number for the BFCC QIO, the deadline to request a review, and what to do if that deadline is missed. This information should be noted in the additional information section found on page 2 of the NOMNIC, along with the date, time representative called, telephone number called, and name of facility personnel who call the representative. If this information is not documented on page 2 of the NOMNIC, it must be found within the submitted medical record. It is the healthcare provider's responsibility to show that they made proper verbal or telephone notification. Providers must mail a copy of the completed NOMNIC to the representative on the same day as the phone call. If the representative can't be reached by phone, the notice should be sent by certified mail with return receipt requested. The date the representative signs or refuses to sign the return receipt is the date of NOMNIC delivery. When the notice is returned by the post office with no indication of refusal, liability starts on the 2nd day after the provider's mailing date. Providers must place a dated copy of the notice in the beneficiary's medical file. Now, let's go step by step through the form and look at how it should be completed. The Office of Management and Budget requires the NOMNIC to be two sides of one page or one side of two separate pages. If it extends beyond 2 pages, it could become an invalid notice. Any entries on the form must be legible 12-point font, including handwritten entries. The provider's name, address, and telephone number must appear above the title of the form. You may use your organization's logo. When adding this information, be sure that text does not shift from page 1 to page 2. Providers must fill in the beneficiary's name and an identification number for the member number. The health insurance claim number, also known as the Medicare number, cannot be used. Insert the effective date, which is the date Medicare payment for the services will end, and service type in the first sentence. In Bullet 4, insert the name and telephone number, including the TTY of KeyPro, which may be found at www.keproqio.com. If you are a health plan, the plan's name and contact information must be displayed here in the event the beneficiary or KeyPro needs this information. In the additional information area, the provider may include pertinent information that may be useful to the beneficiary. This area may not be used to take the place of the detailed explanation of non-coverage. If the Medicare beneficiary refuses to sign the document, refusal should be noted in this section and in the medical record. The beneficiary or representative must sign and fill in the date that the document is signed. It's important to complete the NOMNIC correctly, so it does not have to be reissued. The following are required for a valid notice. There are 3 primary requirements for a valid notice. Providers must use the standardized NOMNIC. It must include QIO contact information, and it must be delivered timely. For more information about the requirements, here is a link to the Medicare Claims Processing Manual with complete details. The link is also available in the video description below. If the NOMNIC is determined to be invalid, KeyPro will disagree with the discharge and the process will begin again. To download the NOMNIC, or for more information on how to complete it, visit the Beneficiary Notices Initiative website at www.cms.gov/BNI. If you have questions about KeyPro or any of the content in this video, you can find our contact information on our website at www.keproqio.com.